Ever feel kind of lost in the beauty aisle? You see all these labels: clean, natural, sustainable,
Mhm.
and you really want to make a good choice, something that fits with what you believe in.
Yeah.
But figuring out what's like real and what's just clever marketing, it feels almost impossible sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. That feeling of uncertainty, it's really widespread. What our sources are highlighting is this big disconnect.
Okay.
We see that a huge number, like 80% of people globally, say sustainability is important when they're shopping for beauty stuff.
Right. 80%. That's massive.
It is. But here's the kicker.
Mhm.
Less than 30% actually trust the claims brands are making.
Wow. Okay. So that's the gap.
Exactly. This gap between what we say we care about and what we actually believe from the brands, this attitude action gap, that's really the core of what we're digging into today.
Right. So for this deep dive, we've pulled together quite a bit of information to try and understand, what's really going on with transparency in the beauty world. Our goal is to figure out what's pushing this need for more openness and what solutions might be starting to pop up.
Yeah, because there are definitely forces at work.
We're seeing things like new rules, like in the EU, their digital product passport,
Right, the DPP.
growing worries about the environment, like biodiversity loss, and just, people being generally skeptical.
Yeah, that consumer skepticism is a big piece. And one really interesting idea that keeps surfacing in our sources as a maybe a way forward is using dynamic QR codes right on the product packaging.
Okay, those little squares you scan with your phone.
Exactly. We're going to look at how these, especially when they follow something called GS1 standards, that's a global standard, how they could be a real game changer.
Interesting.
And we've also learned about a platform called MerchUX, which uses these specific GS1 compliant codes, and also this really fascinating concept called the Earth Today Unit of Nature, or UON.
Unit of nature. Oh, okay, we'll definitely need to unpack that. All right, so let's jump into what our sources are calling this unsustainable paradox. Sounds like a lot of things are colliding here.
It really is a confluence, kind of a perfect storm of factors. You've got stricter regulations coming down the pike
Right.
that are going to demand much more insight into, the whole journey a product takes the supply chain.
Okay, more visibility needed there.
Yeah. Then you add the urgent environmental issues. We see a lot of it's called greenwashing.
Where brands maybe stretch the truth a bit about how green they are.
Exactly, overstating credentials. And alongside that, a very real problem with biodiversity loss that's directly linked to where and how ingredients are sourced.
Like, what kind of ingredients are we talking about?
Well, think about things like palm oil, shea butter, even stuff that sounds quite luxurious like sandalwood and vanilla, argan oil too.
It's okay.
Even the mica that gives some makeup its shimmer that
Yeah.
can be connected to deforestation, soil damage, and sadly, sometimes unethical labor. The sort of uncomfortable truth is that even ingredients that seem natural can have these hidden costs environmentally and socially.
And the lack of transparency makes it hard to know.
Impossible almost for consumers to know the real impact of what they're buying.
It is kind of shocking when you think about those hidden impacts behind everyday ingredients. So what does this all mean for the companies, the brands, and for us, as shoppers?
Well, for the brands, the stakes are getting pretty high. Not following these new rules can mean fines or even being blocked from selling in certain markets.
Okay, serious consequences.
Definitely. And beyond that, if they're caught greenwashing, misleading people, they risk losing customers and doing real damage to their reputation.
Right, trust is hard to win back.
Exactly. And for us, the consumers, it's just frustrating, isn't it? We want to make ethical choices, but it's hard when you can't easily find reliable info.
Yeah.
That attitude action gap really shows how tough it is for people to actually act on their values in this kind of environment.
So how do we bridge this gap then? Our sources talk about verified transparency, and these dynamic QR codes seem like a big part of that, like turning a label into what do they call it, a living portal of trust.
Yeah, I like that phrase, living portal of trust. And take MerchUX, for instance. They use these dynamic QR codes that follow GS1 standards.
Okay, remind us what GS1 is again.
Think of GS1 as the organization that manages those standard barcodes you see everywhere. They ensure every product has a unique global ID.
Got it. Like the language of barcodes.
Exactly. Now they're applying that to these advanced QR codes, ensuring the linked info is reliable and consistent worldwide. That GS1 compliant part is crucial.
Why is that?
because it means the codes meet international standards. The information is trustworthy, verifiable globally. It lets brands actually prove their sustainability claims.
Okay, proof, not just promises.
Meet those new regulations like the Digital Product Passport, and really importantly, trace ingredients right back to the source.
And that helps with the biodiversity risks you mentioned.
Vitally, that detailed tracking is essential for tackling those risks.
So for us, when we're standing there with the product, what happens when we scan one of these codes? What do we actually see?
Well, it potentially unlocks a whole world of information that wasn't easy to get before. You could see exactly where ingredients came from.
Like the farm or the region?
Potentially, yeah. Understand the product's environmental footprint, learn about the company's ethical practices. It moves beyond vague marketing words.
It gives us actual data.
Verified data right at your fingertips.
Okay, now here's the million-dollar question, maybe.
Hmm.
Do we, as the people buying this stuff, actually care enough to bother scanning a QR code?
That's a really fair question. What the sources show is that QR code use is already pretty common. A decent number of people report scanning them regularly, even daily.
Okay, so people are scanning them in general.
Yes. And when it comes to beauty products specifically, people are using them because they offer instant access to things they actually value. Like detailed ingredient lists, seeing what other people think in reviews, checking where ingredients came from, even verifying if a product is fake or accessing loyalty perks.
Ah, okay, so it's not just curiosity. There's real utility there.
Exactly. Customers see these QR codes as a bridge, connecting the physical thing they're holding with all this useful digital info.
So it's about getting real value, not just, more information overload.
Precisely. They can dive deeper into what they're putting on their skin or hair, maybe watch a quick tutorial, make sure it's the real deal.
Yeah, authenticity is a big one, especially online.
And really understand a brand's sustainability commitment. And all of that can definitely influence whether they buy it or not.
If it leads to good reviews or proves authenticity.
It builds trust, encourages the purchase. Look, we might not know the fancy terms like GS1 Digital Link or Digital Product Passport.
Probably not, no.
But we absolutely care about what those things enable, knowing our products are ethically sourced, sustainable, traceable.
The benefits, not the jargon.
Right. And with those new EU rules and industry shifts, like GS1's Sunrise 2027, which aims to phase out old barcodes, these advanced QR codes are just going to become more common.
So the answer to will people scan seems to be.
Yes, especially if there's a clear benefit. Detailed info, authenticity checks, loyalty rewards, real data on sustainability and ethics.
You mentioned loyalty programs and rewards. How much difference does offering an incentive actually make in getting people to scan?
Rewards can be a really powerful motivator. Our sources strongly suggest that if you give people a clear reason why they should scan, you see a significant jump in engagement and potentially conversion, whether they buy something.
What kind of rewards?
Think about loyalty points towards a future discount, maybe a special offer just for scanning, or access to exclusive content like tutorials or early product info.
Okay.
Brands using QR codes for these kinds of perks often report much higher interaction rates. We're seeing some real numbers here.
Such as?
Some connected packaging campaigns using QR codes have hit scan rates as high as 14%. That's pretty impressive compared to, say, typical online ad engagement.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
And if you use a QR code to get someone to download an app and offer a reward, success rates can be even higher, sometimes way higher.
Any specific brand examples?
Clinique, for one, noticed that customers who engage with their QR code experiences, including rewards, are like 2.5 times more likely to buy something.
Wow.
And they tend to spend about 30% more overall.
Okay, so the rewards really create a clear value proposition for the customer.
Definitely. Makes them more willing to take that extra second to scan. And because the QR codes make redeeming the reward pretty easy, it encourages more people to join in.
And you mentioned these codes are often dynamic.
Right. Which means brands can even potentially personalize the rewards over time, making them more appealing.
So what's key for brands doing this?
A clear call to action scan for 10% off, whatever. A really smooth, simple process to get the reward. And tracking what works so they can optimize it.
Right, makes sense. Give people a good reason, make it easy. Okay, so how common are these more advanced QR codes? The ones with GS1 Digital Link and the Digital Product Passports? How much are we seeing them in beauty right now?
We're definitely seeing more and more, but you could say it's still relatively early days for, like, universal adoption.
Okay.
As we said, these technologies connect the physical product to digital info using unique global IDs in a standard way. Super important for traceability and meeting regulations.
And loads of businesses already use GS1 for regular barcodes, right?
Exactly. Globally, millions are eligible to use these newer GS1 digital link QR codes, so the foundation is there.
And in the beauty world specifically, are the big names jumping on board?
We are seeing leaders like L'Oreal, Clinique, ISDN, Vaseline, Natru starting to use QR codes, and some are using the advanced GS1 digital link.
Why? What are they using them for?
To better track products, meet those regulatory needs we talked about, and connect more directly with customers, share that extra info.
But it's not everyone yet.
No, a lot of brands are still in the testing and learning phase, you could say. We expect a much bigger shift as we get closer to that 2027 GS1 sunrise deadline.
That's when the old barcodes start getting phased out.
Right. That's a big driver.
And the digital product passports, the DPPs, how common are those?
The DPPs are definitely being piloted, especially by brands responding to the EU's big push on sustainability.
So more in Europe for now.
Primarily, yeah. We're seeing increasing adoption in beauty, but it's not universal yet. But given the regulations, we anticipate DPPs becoming much more standard, especially for products sold in Europe.
Feels like we're on the verge of a bigger change then.
I think so, driven by rules, but also by what consumers are starting to expect. And it's not just beauty other sectors are moving to.
Like who?
Well, a gourmet food company, Parla Deli, was apparently the first to completely ditch old barcodes for GS1 digital link QR codes. We see it in fashion with Flip a K. And big retailers and manufacturers like Nestle, P&G, Metitro, Lidl, they've all committed to GS1 digital link.
Okay, so the momentum is building across industries.
Yeah, and as we said, L'Oreal, Clinique are already active. So looking ahead to, say, 2025, we'll probably see hundreds of major brands globally using GS1 digital link QR codes, and that number is likely growing fast.
And DPPs.
Smaller numbers initially for DPPs, maybe dozens to hundreds, mainly European or multinational brands, but expect significant growth there too.
Okay, let's zoom in on specific types of beauty shoppers. Say someone buying hair care from a brand like AG Care, or maybe clean skincare from Sanzi. What's really driving their purchase decisions?
Right. People buying from those kinds of brands tend to be pretty informed, and they really care about the details, ingredient safety and transparency. That's usually top of the list.
Knowing what's in it, avoiding certain chemicals.
Exactly. But it's not just about what's left out. The product still has to work. Performance, efficacy, visible results, that's crucial too.
Makes sense. Performance matters.
Then there are the brand's values and ethics. Things like sustainability, being cruelty-free, sourcing ingredients ethically. These are major considerations, not just afterthoughts.
So the how matters as much as the what.
Absolutely. Sustainability itself, eco-friendly packaging, responsible sourcing, often a must-have. They also tend to prefer clean, maybe minimalist formulations, especially in skincare.
Less is more sometimes.
And personalization is appealing. Plus, what other people say, social proof, recommendations from trusted sources, that definitely plays a role.
Okay. Are there differences between, say, what hair care shoppers want versus skincare shoppers in this space?
Yeah, some nuances. For hair care, they might look for clean, vegan, cruelty-free formulas that still deliver professional-level results for specific concerns. Eco-friendly or refillable packaging is also a big plus there.
Refillables are getting popular.
Definitely. In skincare, the focus might be more on simple, effective routines with gentle, natural ingredients. They really want transparency about sourcing and production, looking for products that support overall skin health.
So it sounds like for these specific customer groups, a company's whole approach to social and environmental responsibility, their CSR ethos, it's not just a nice to have.
Oh, absolutely not. For these segments, CSR is a major driver of trust and loyalty. People are often willing to pay a bit more for products from brands that genuinely live these values.
And the flip side.
The flip side is greenwashing. If a brand gets caught misleading consumers about their environmental efforts, they risk serious damage to their reputation and losing these really engaged, values-driven customers.
So it's fundamental for brands like AG Care or Sanzi.
Totally. It's core to their identity, a key reason people choose them and stick with them long term.
Okay, let's pull back again. To get a sense of the scale here, how big is the global beauty and personal care market overall? It feels huge.
It is genuinely massive. For 2025, the estimates put global revenues somewhere around $677 billion US.
677 billion. Wow.
Yeah. Different sources might vary slightly, but they're all in that huge ballpark. And it's not slowing down. Projections show continued strong growth,
How strong?
potentially reaching over $800 billion by 2033, maybe even hitting $1.5 trillion by 2035, depending on the growth rate.
Incredible. What's fueling that kind of growth?
Several things. Rising incomes globally, a bigger focus on health, wellness, self-care,
That makes sense.
increasing demand for those natural and sustainable products we've been talking about, and of course, the massive influence of social media and e-commerce.
Right. Online shopping is key.
Huge. Interestingly, the Asia-Pacific region currently holds the largest market share, over 37%.
And within the market, what are the biggest segments?
Personal care overall is the largest. Think body wash, deodorant, oral care. But skincare and hair care are major segments too, along with color cosmetics and fragrances.
Anything growing particularly fast?
The men's grooming sector is seeing really rapid growth, projected to be huge by 2030.
Okay. And trends across the board.
We're seeing that push for clean label, vegan, cruelty-free continues. Also, multifunctional products, things that do more than one job. Tech integration is big too.
Like AI skin analysis?
Yeah, things like that. And personalization, tailoring products to individuals.
What about the companies? Is it dominated by giants or are there lots of smaller players?
It's moderately fragmented, actually. You have the global giants, but also a ton of smaller independent brands.
Who are the big names?
Think L'Oreal, Unilever, Estee Lauder, Procter & Gamble, P&G, Shiseido, LVMH, Chanel, Beiersdorf, Nature & Co., Coty.
Household names.
Right. L'Oreal alone does something like $44.5 billion in sales. They own dozens of brands. But there are thousands of other companies globally, especially in clean beauty and direct-to-consumer.
So it's competitive.
Very. Fragmentation, relatively low barriers to entry makes it super competitive. And just to reiterate some key 2025 figures, $677 billion global revenue, growing around 3.4% annually. Personal care is the biggest slice. The U.S. leads in revenue generation, and online sales are projected to be almost 40% of the total.
Okay, so we have this enormous market, growing demand for transparency. But one of our sources mentioned a dirty secret, even within clean beauty. What's that about?
Yeah, the dirty secret it points to is that fundamental lack of verified transparency, even among brands claiming to be clean or natural.
So, good intentions maybe, but no proof.
Often, yeah. And that absence of real verifiable proof opens the door wide open for greenwashing, which, as we've said, just erodes consumer trust.
Back to that 80-30 statistic.
Exactly. 80% prioritize sustainability, less than 30% trust the claims. That disconnect shows the impact of misinformation and lack of proof.
And what are the consequences of this lack of transparency?
Well, for brands, it's regulatory risk, potentially losing market share as consumers get savvier, and serious reputational damage if they can't back up what they say.
And for consumers?
It makes it really hard, especially for younger generations like Gen Z and millennials who often prioritize ethical buying, to actually align their purchases with their values.
Right.
The source also really highlighted biodiversity as this sort of overlooked casualty.
How so?
Well, apparently more than half of the ingredients used in cosmetics come from biodiversity hotspots, ecologically sensitive areas.
I don't more than half.
Yeah. And ingredients like palm oil, shea butter, the ones we listed before, they've been linked to deforestation, soil damage, unethical labor.
So without tracing,
Without proper traceability, brands could unknowingly be contributing to ecosystem destruction while marketing clean beauty. It's a huge contradiction.
and consumers are catching on.
Increasingly, biodiversity is becoming the next frontier in ethical consumerism. Research even suggests biodiversity-linked claims drive higher purchase intent than just generic natural labels.
But people are skeptical without proof.
Exactly. Skepticism prevails. And brands face real hurdles providing this proof. Complex global supply chains, obscure origins.
They'll have to track everything back.
Lack of interoperable data systems, sustainability marketing fatigue among consumers, and limited ways to share verified impact data at the point of purchase.
All contributing to that cynicism.
Right. But what the source stresses is that purchase drivers are shifting. People want ingredient safety, aligned values, verifiable claims, eco-packaging, sustainable sourcing, trust through social proof, and digital engagement.
It's a whole package deal now.
It is. And even well-intentioned brands often struggle to provide tangible evidence across all those areas.
Which brings us back to
Virtue X, potentially, as a structural solution. turning each product into a verifiable touchpoint via those GS1 compliant dynamic QR codes.
Providing that living record you mentioned.
Yeah, sourcing, carbon footprint, certifications, biodiversity contribution. And the really unique part is rewarding consumers with tangible planetary protection through that unit of nature, or UON, concept with Earth Today.
Okay, tell us more about the UON.
The idea is 1 square meter of protected land is linked to a verified scan. Consumers can actually track this, share it. It's not just messaging, it's real, verifiable ecological protection.
So buying a product could directly help protect land.
That's the concept. Moving from just supporting a brand story to funding actual measurable conservation. It creates this win-win-win.
Also,
Brands win through compliance, deeper trust, differentiation via transparency. Consumers win with digital proof and the reward of real environmental impact. And the planet wins through direct funding for biodiversity protection via those UONs.
interesting framework.
So the key takeaway is transparency is fast becoming table stakes, the minimum standard. Brands that show rather than tell, the ones providing proof, are set to lead.
So the future is provable.
Provable, transparent, honest, and potentially, with solutions like this, even regenerative, helping heal, not just sustain.
Okay, so wrapping up this deep dive then, it's really clear there's this huge consumer demand for transparency and sustainability in beauty and personal care.
Huge demand, yeah.
But the challenges of greenwashing, that attitude-action gap, they're very real.
Significant challenges, definitely.
However, technologies like dynamic QR codes, especially when they're linked to initiatives like MerchUX and this unit of nature idea, they offer a genuinely promising path forward.
A way to provide that verified information and maybe even create tangible positive impact.
It's crucial to understand all these forces at play. The regulations, the consumer shifts, the environmental urgency.
Absolutely. And how technology, when it's used thoughtfully, can be a really powerful tool for positive change in this industry.
So a final thought maybe for everyone listening.
Yeah.
Think about the products you use every single day. Your shampoo, your moisturizer.
Mm-hmm.
What if you could instantly scan and see their true impact? And what if every time you bought something, it actually contributed directly to protecting a piece of the planet?
What questions would you start asking brands then?
Exactly. We'd really encourage you to seek out those brands that are making transparency a priority and to look for that verifiable proof behind the claims they make.